Okay, today we are playing a game on King's Row. We are in the Platinum SR range, and we will be playing Widowmaker, Genji, Pharah, and Soldier 76 in that order, I believe. We play a lot of DPS heroes in this game, is the moral of the story. Our current team composition is Winston, D.Va, Widowmaker, Soldier 76, Mercy, and Moira. So it's a team that seems very indecisive, because we've got the 2 dive tanks, then the 2 not dive DPS, and then Mercy and Moira. But here's why it is fine. Widowmaker and 76 do a lot of damage from far away, can help each other get kills, because Widowmaker doesn't necessarily need to kill someone. As long as she hits someone, they get dropped very low, and they're very easy to finish off, so 76 can do that. But Winston and D.Va will be in there diving on people as well, doing a bunch of incidental damage, as will Moira. So just like a lot of random damage floating around with a Widow and 76 to help, like, set up the divers for actually, like, finishing somebody off, or vice versa. So, it does work, even though it's a little bit weird to look at, right? Because it seems odd initially. So, let's start the game. It's a reasonably long game, as you might infer from the fact we play several heroes in it. Let's turn it down a little bit. So, we come up and we get 2-tapped by McCree, which is very sad, of course. We do move up in position very aggressively, which is risky. I don't think we actually even checked inside the hotel. It's an unusual replay to be watching it like this. I don't think we even checked in the hotel, because sometimes somebody is standing in hotel as well, waiting to kill someone for doing this kind of thing. But McCree plays it really well and just 2-taps us, which is always going to feel bad. We do, like, immediately go into a very aggressive position, which, you can get punished for, but, the McCree played really well, so, fair enough to him, basically. So we've lost a lot of people over in the other fight. D.Va's lost her mech, both our supports are dead. It's not ideal, really. And so we kind of have to wait for them to get back. We do set up the kill on the Orisa, because we headshot her, and then she gets finished off by someone else. Oh god. This is very optimistic, because we hit the McCree. There's a large health kit in that room, so the McCree is almost never going to peek that doorway again. Well, assuming he doesn't do something really stupid. But we should always assume the enemy team will play well. So we could have, like, tried to do something else after we hit the McCree once, because realistically he will not peek the doorway again after getting hit. Wait and try to hit the Moira. We're playing Widowmaker. I'm not gonna remark on aim or anything like that, because that's not very helpful advice. We got the first checkpoint, and it all sort of worked out very well. They lost, awkward, we fall back off the window. They lost a lot of people very quickly, while resetting. It was very sad for them. Getting the pick on the Orisa was pretty good, because she was sort of their main tank, even though she shouldn't be. So, we do use Infrasight quite early here, because the thing with Infrasight is that it is more or less a guaranteed pick. Like, it isn't really, but it makes it a lot easier to pick someone. And you wanna try and pick someone at the point it would be the worst for them to lose somebody, right? So, in King's Row, we would like to wait until the payload is sort of around where it is right now, because we're looking to buy as much time for our team as possible when we use Infrasight, because we're trying to pick somebody off. So we want to pick somebody off at the most beneficial time. This point on the payload is free, because the enemy team isn't going to come and fight you in the courtyard, right? Like, they are going to wait until it gets beyond this point, because it's starting to pass the archway at this point. So we would like to use Infrasight more sort of around now, because if we use Infrasight now, it makes it easier for us to pick somebody off, and if we pick somebody off right now, we should get to push up until, like, here, before the enemy team can actually, like, regroup as 6 again. So we ideally buy because this part of the route is not free, right? The enemy team will fight you along this route. They will not fight you in the courtyard. So it would be more beneficial to try and get the pick now with Infrasight. We get another pick anyway, because Zenyatta was just kind of standing out there, but could have used Infrasight a little later to try and buy more time. We picked somebody up. We picked off the McCree as well, which makes it easier to make all of this happen as well. Then McCree gets back just in time to use the worst Deadeye in the world. Gets bumped out of the way as we do that, but he gets dove on by so many people, and that's why Deadeye is a bad ultimate when you're, like, losing the fight. We pick off this Roadhog as well. Roadhog is extremely staggered relative to the rest of his team, so it's really sad for him to get picked off right there. In general, we play Widowmaker pretty well. Even right now, we got nothing better to do, so we spend some time shooting Winston's shield, because we've got nothing better to do, so we might as well shoot the shield a little bit to try and break it. This is where it gets harder to play Widow in this area, because line of sights become harder to come by. So Winston comes in way too deep trying to kill us, and now he gets picked off as well. We don't quite manage to kill the Pharah, which is of course very sad. Go in quite aggressively. The enemy team at this point has started to become rather hostile for us to play against. God, I really like playing Moira. Like, Moira is my favorite hero in the game. I hate playing Moira versus a Widowmaker, because when you start using Coalescence, you paint this giant target on your head that the Widowmaker is gonna try and kill you, and you can't use Fade, so it's very sad. I hate playing Moira against a Widowmaker, because dying during Coalescence is just the worst thing in the entire world. So they have a lot of things that make it very difficult for us to play Widowmaker, and we're about to change off of Widowmaker when we die in the near future, which is, thank goodness from my perspective, because it's hard to really say much about Widowmaker, because I'm trying not to say aim better, basically. We played Widowmaker pretty well, basically. Infrasight, I think, could have been better, that's about it. So now we've entered the Genji segment. This is the only time we play Genji. Once we change off of him, we never change back. We do change back to Widow again. And Genji is not really the best pick against their team. I wouldn't really advise it, because think about what their team is, right? So their team is, they've got Zenyatta, so that's somebody we can kill. They've got Winston, Roadhog, Genji, Reaper, right? And Moira. We can't realistically kill very many of these people. Like, we can kill Zenyatta. Zenyatta's no deep, right? Yeah, Genji kills Zenyatta. We have to avoid Winston. We want to try and avoid Roadhog, because he's scary. We don't want to deal with the enemy Genji, because Genji versus Genji tends to be a huge waste of time for both parties involved, and best avoided. We can kill Reaper, but, like, it's kind of hard to do so. Like, he's still pretty tanky, and, like, we still have to be a little bit afraid, because if he gets a meat shot into us, he kills us, and he can always Wraith form away. We'll probably never actually kill Moira, because Moira is actually extremely survivable, especially in a duel versus a Genji. Trust me, I play Moira, and when a Genji tries to 1v1 me, I think to myself, this is a free kill right here. You just throw the healing orb next to you and then start draining the Genji, and unless the Genji is a god or has his ultimate, he's not going to kill you through 100 HP heal per second. So, Genji is not the best pick versus their team, because we have to avoid both their tanks. At the very least, we have to play around Roadhog, even if we aren't actively avoiding him. Genji we want to avoid. Moira we are probably not going to kill. Moira might kill us. Reaper is just not great. So what we've really got is Zenyatta. So I wouldn't really recommend trying to play Genji right now, because the enemy team is going to be extremely difficult to get much done with as Genji. They aren't really going to necessarily kill you, because nobody on their team is great at killing you unless you fuck up. But it's also going to be hard to get a lot done versus their team as Genji, because there are so many things that we kind of have to play around, and we don't have that many potential targets as Genji. That being said, this still ends up being really easy overall. So we get into a scuffle with the Moira. Just the thing with Genji's right-click. Don't stay in this room, because Moira's damage orb does 200 damage to you, so if you stick in a confined space with it kills you. Like, it kills you. Thing with Genji's right-click, the benefit of using the right-click is, like, yeah, it's easier to hit because you fan him out, but the real reason to use the right-click is that you can burst somebody to death by using it. It's way harder to go back in VLC. The benefit of using it is that, like, if you throw all three into somebody, it does a big burst damage to them, right? So if we're gonna right-click Moira, we need to be walking into Moira, not away from Moira. And this is how you kill Moira as Genji, right? Because I've died to Genji. Like, it's not impossible to kill a Moira as Genji, though you do have to have to be pretty confident you're gonna do it. It's difficult. Moira doesn't do spike damage to you, and you being closer to Moira doesn't really make it easier for Moira to kill you, because she still does, like, not that much damage. If we get, like, right up in Moira's grill, because also, like, people on their team are dead right now. Winston's dead as well right now. Like, a lot of their team are regrouping, so Moira herself is not scary necessarily, unless we get into an extended fight with her. Just, like, walk up point blank to her, throw that right click into her, and, like, get, you know, all 3 of the shurikens to hit her twice, you kill the Moira. Like, it's not an issue at that point. You have to... Killing Moira, you have to spot your time to do so, and you have to, like, not hesitate to do it. Like, we start backing away from her. At the very least, if we're gonna back away from her, we should start left-clicking her, because the whole point of the right-click is you can hit all 3 at the same time, and you, like, spike the person. If you're backing away from the person, you're not going to do that. But, you know, if you're going to try and kill Moira, that's how you do it. You, like, get up in her grill, and you just try to spike her to death with your right click, because an extended fight with a Moira will always end up in the Moira's favor. So, we've got Dragon Blade right now. Like, the Genji section is not very long, because we kind of just roll over them with ultimates. Yeah, I know, like, the video keeps getting kind of fucked up. That's because my computer is 1 billion years old. Don't worry about it. It also, like, doesn't really like me doing a lot of, like, rewinding stuff, so I'll try and avoid doing that. They have a Bastion now. Bastion tries to ignore us. We've got Dragon Blade, we're going to go in with the Dragon Blade. Good patience to not just pull it out and try to kill the Bastion with it. That's how a lot of Genjis end their lives. Yeah, like, we don't have to do much as Genji, because, like, we kind of just bowl over them with ultimates, and they never actually figure out how to stop us. So, oh, Jesus Christ, excuse me. Oh, God, I'm such a disgusting animal. So, now we're going to play Widowmaker again for a little bit, and then we're going to change to Pharah partway through this round. So, oh no, now we have to talk about Widowmaker again, even though Widowmaker is really easy to just start going aim better with. We're waiting to try and kill a man. As the door opens, he wisely doesn't just stand there and let us do that. We debate trying to go for the hookshot play. Just, you know, efficiency thing. We don't have a Venom Mine out right now, and we've had all the time in the world to put a Venom Mine out there. There's like 2 trains of thought with Venom Mine, which is that you should either use it to watch your back, or you should use it aggressively. Granted, I don't play Widowmaker myself, because I'm an uncultured Reinhardt player and don't know how to aim. So, and a Moira player, so I still don't really know how to aim. But, the thing is with using Venom Mine to, like, watch flanks or, like, watch your back is, you got a surround sound headset, you can just listen for somebody approaching you, and that's just as good. And then you can use the Venom Mine aggressively to try and do damage, because you just, you know, chuck it into a team fight and it does a lot of AoE damage. But just like, that's my opinion on Venom Mine anyway. It's better to use it aggressively than defensively, because you've got other ways to watch flanks and stuff, like you can just check or listen. But just raw, like, base level efficiency stuff, it's better to have a Venom Mine out there than to not have a Venom Mine out there. Like, just chuck it on, like, the backside of the bus or something, so that like, it procs when somebody walks past it, and then you do some damage, and you get a little bit of ult charge built up off of it, if nothing else. Because Recon Visor builds up pretty quickly. Go for the hookshot play, don't quite kill someone, very sad. We didn't notice that a Tracer actually blinked in, and then we kind of got spooked and ran away. Widowmaker is actually pretty good against Tracer, counter to popular belief, because as long as you hit the Tracer, even if you don't kill the Tracer, it forces her to use recall, and then Tracer is way less threatening. We get into this, like, really awkward scuffle with her, we drop Venom Mine. It does proc on her, which is gonna be annoying for her, and we start getting chased by Winston, and, you know, it's an awkward position to be in as Widow. So here's a thing. While I don't want to go back really because it makes the video player so upset. While we were trying to shoot the Hanzo through the doorway, we can hear Tracer doing stuff around us, And we don't want Tracer to do exactly what she did, which is kill Mercy, because Mercy's the most important player on our team. She's more important than us as Widowmaker. So rather than trying to kill the Hanzo through the doorway, which granted, you know, killing somebody is always good, we should try to stop the Tracer from killing Mercy. And also, if we kill Tracer, Tracer can't threaten us either, so we benefit from it in two ways, and that Mercy doesn't die, and then she can't try and make life difficult for us. So we die here, we die to Hanzo, which is very sad. And we change to Pharah, because Pharah is pretty good against their team, because the only person on their team that can realistically kill us is, Ana. Moira can kill us as well, but we kind of have to overextend to make that happen, because Moira, takes 4 seconds to kill Pharah, because she only does 50 damage per second. And she doesn't really get to use the orb to try and, speed that process up, because we're going to be in the air, you know, as Pharah. So they're, like, really far up right now, but unfortunately we couldn't really kill Zarya that quickly, or Winston as Pharah. We do manage to kill their Hanzo. We have to be careful that we don't, like, get picked off while we're doing that, because, like, half of our team were dead at the time. And now, we drop really low, but Moira is here to heal us up, and then Mercy gets here. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Christ. You know, we obviously don't want to get picked off, because that would be terrible. So we do have to be careful about making that kind of aggressive play. So this is a position where you should be wary of approaching the enemy team as far, because we have sort of been trending towards them the entire time. Because we were pretty close to the ground at the time while we were floating towards them. And the entire reason that Pharah is good is because she can be high up in the air, and that makes her generally quite difficult to kill. And the only way that, like, the bulk of their team kills us is if we're close to the ground. And we were just sort of slowly floating towards them at, like, a little bit off ground level, but still in range, while our booster was on cooldown. So, if you're low to the ground and your booster is on cooldown, you should be careful about floating towards people, because you're not really Pharah if you're close to the ground, you know? So, we do also have to be careful about overextending, because they have a lot of things that do guaranteed damage to us, like this here Winston and that there Moira. So, we can kind of get killed if we overstep our boundaries, which we will see in the near future, where we start getting kind of greedy. So, fight, you know, not really going their way, but now Winston's using Primal Rage, which is super annoying, especially to us as Pharah, because Pharah takes kind of a long time to kill tanks. She's not the best at killing them, she's better at killing squishy targets. Moira using Coalescence is also very scary to Pharah, because it has a 30-meter range, which is absolutely insane. And here our team is in for some bad times, but this is a pretty textbook barrage, because we float around the backside, they don't see it coming, we kill both their supports really quickly. Those were the only ones that could realistically kill us. All good. That's how you use barrage. You get up behind the enemy team, and you, fucking kill them with barrage, you know? So it goes pretty well. We've only died 3 times. That's pretty good for a game that's been going on this long, honestly. And when you consider, like, how hostile their team has been to us generally. So here, the death that we suffered for overstepping our boundaries is coming up soon, because you're about to see us get really aggressive. Here comes Winston. Winston is good against Pharmacy for this reason, that he does guaranteed damage, but he does have to kind of not land in the middle of our team mostly dead, because then he dies. So our Mercy just got picked off by Tracer, because she got stuck, which is going to kill Mercy, you know, unfortunately. Our Winston currently dead, and here's where we start to really feel it, Mr. Krabs, where we start floating towards them. And granted, we get some kills, but oh no. Also, like, minor thing, we shoot Concussive Blast at Orisa after she's used Fortify, so it's just gonna not do anything. Fortify lasts 4 seconds. You gotta be more patient than that if you're gonna try and Concussive Blast her. But you see, we just way overstep our boundaries. Also, Concussive Blast is most commonly used to readjust yourself. Like, you can use it to reposition really quickly. So instead, imagine we make this big aggressive play, and we start floating towards them. But then instead of trying to Concussive Blast the Orisa, we Concussive Blast off the wall, and that propels us back towards the bar, and then we can disappear around the corner and we don't get killed. So, you know, obviously one way to not die is to just not go forward as aggressively. But also, if we use Concussive Blast more to maneuver ourselves than try to maneuver the Orisa, we can probably get out of it as well. Concussive Blast is most commonly used to move Pharah rather than move other people, because it is, like if you watch, a really good Pharah player, like, Valkia, play Pharah, it's real smooth. He's got the barrage, you just watch him, jet boost, Concussive Blast, lands right in front of the enemy team and then kills them all with barrage. Concussive Blast is most commonly used to move Pharah rather than other people. If you're using it to move other people, it's usually to push them out of position or to push them off an edge. And moving Orisa right there wouldn't really have put her out of position. So, most of our team currently dead. And we end up in this awkward position where we are now behind the enemy team. But we are going to try and flank them with barrage because we have barrage. So it gets awkward because their Ana sees us. And we know Ana saw us because she just tried to trank us. So here's I'm going to spoil the surprise. We end up dying when we use barrage because Ana kills us. So here's the thing, right? And I do think that we could have potentially stopped the enemy team from getting this checkpoint, or at the very least stopped them from getting it on this push, because our team is actually recollecting right now. And we do have barrage, and we're in a decent position to use barrage. But here's the thing. We know Ana has seen us because she just tried to shoot us. So, I am of the opinion that you should always assume the enemy team is going to play well. You should not assume they are going to misplay or fuck up, right? They might, but you should not assume they will. So if we assume Ana is going to do what she's supposed to do, she's going to know that we're going to try and use barrage because we're currently behind the enemy team. Pharah that's behind the enemy team only really wants to do one thing, right? So we should try to kill Ana before we actually make this play, because she's going to try and stop us from doing it. Ana's the only one on their team that realistically can stop us very quickly, unless Hanzo is kind of lucky. We should try to kill her before we make the play, or if we're going to make the play, we should try and kill Ana really quickly with the barrage. But again, if we assume Ana's going to do what she's supposed to do, she's going to be watching for us, she's going to call out to her team also that Pharah is probably looking to use barrage. So, assuming this, we should adjust our play, and rather than just trying to hide out of the way, we should be trying to kill Ana. Because there's not really much point trying to hide, right? Because the reason you would not shoot at this point is because you don't want them to know you're behind them. But they know we're behind them because Ana has seen us, and we should assume Ana's going to play well and call out that we're back here. So the element of surprise is already gone. We should just try and kill Ana because she is the thing that might stop us from making this big play. We don't do that. We don't try to kill Ana, and we just do this. Then, lo and behold, Ana did indeed play correctly. She was waiting for us, and then as soon as we started using barrage, she basically fucked us up. Yeah, we knew she saw us, so we should have we need to try and, stop her from killing us, or stopping us from making the big play, which is basically to kill her. So now they have a couple of things that are scary to, Pharah, so we're gonna change to Soldier. So we are going up real far right now. We shouldn't have really gone up that far at all, because we've lost that checkpoint. It's just not, if we didn't get the barrage play, that checkpoint's gone, we shouldn't go that far up. We still shouldn't be this far up because some of our team were still regrouping up until this point, and we really don't want to get picked off before our team actually regroups, right? So we shouldn't have been that far up in general. We should have been waiting for our team to actually, catch up to us. So we stay on Soldier. They do capture this checkpoint, which will probably not be very surprising, because, you look at the way this is going, you look that we've got no ultimates ready except Coalescence, and you go, it's gonna be hard to stop this one, isn't it? Yeah. They get it. We just about barely survived that one. We're in a bad spot right now. And, we're trying to break the shields, because, we're playing Soldier. Just, chuck your rockets at the shield, right? Because we're sitting on this cooldown. And, where the fuck is my mouse cursor? So just, general thing with Soldier. Most soldiers do this, where they sit on their rocket cooldown for a really long time. If you think you can hit something with the rocket, you should try to hit it with the rocket. Because the whole thing with Soldier is that he's just about doing as much consistent DPS as possible. So you just want to use the Helix Rocket as often as possible, because it just means you do more damage. If you're trying to break a barrier, it does 120 damage to the barrier. Someone like Orissa's shield, that's a big deal. Even for just Reinhardt's shield, right? That's like 5% of his shield. You know, it's a bigger deal than it seems. Like, most people sit on the rockets like, I need this if I'm gonna kill somebody. Yeah, but like, if you're gonna kill somebody with a rocket, they're gonna have to be out of position anyway. Like, it only does damage, it's not a utility ability, and Soldier is just looking to do as much damage as possible, so just like, chuck the rockets out there. Even if, like, if you think you can hit something with the rockets, hit the rockets. Like, even if it's just a barrier, just chuck them at the barrier. You want to break that barrier quickly, because Soldier is also meant to break barriers, you know? So, we do almost have Tac Visor. It's not to be. We can hear him using Deadeye. Mercy dies. Yeah, they captured the checkpoint. Unfortunately, they didn't do it in overtime as well, because we could be in a position where it would be impossible for us to lose, because we had more than a minute left. So if they did it in overtime, they would not actually get the time extension, so we would be unable to lose at that point. But unfortunately, it was not to be. So now we're going to keep playing Soldier. They've only got a minute. King's Row's spawn point is really fucking close to the checkpoint. So they've got 2, maybe 3 pushes, depending on how quickly they do it, which is, you know, this is why overtime 1 minute on King's Row is kind of scary, because of the proximity of the checkpoint. So I do not recommend standing in this position, because it's not that great, line of sight wise, because, like, you can see out the gate, yeah, but you can, like, see out of the gate from other places as well. Like, but here's the big deal, right? If you need to run away, like, if you end up being in trouble, you have to go a really long way, because you have to get off of here, right? You can, try and jump across to the other balcony, but, like, you've got no cover while you're doing that, and, like, my team's all the way over there. Like, you gotta go a long way. Like, if you have to retreat, it's really hard to retreat back without dying. And here's the other thing. You can't see the balcony and hotel very clearly from here. So, enemy knows we're here. If they've got like a Tracer or a Genji and they go through the hotel, they can just come up behind us, and there's a good possibility we'll miss them doing that. So I do not recommend standing over here, because this is very dangerous and not that much better than just standing over there. Right? Like, you can just stand over on this balcony, you've got roughly the same line of sight, but you're way safer, because you've got the doorways and you're closer to your team. Or you can just stand down here and use the building as cover, and then, like, you're still with your team, you know, behind the shields, and you can see out the gate perfectly fine, but you're way safer. I don't recommend standing over here, because it's very risky. Like, you see, you do that maneuver, right? Like, they've got, like, a McCree or something, and look, Winston was coming up behind us. We had no idea Winston was coming. Moira as well. Like, yeah, they're not gonna kill us quickly, but, like, we had no idea they were coming if they were a more scary hero, right? Like, even just an Ana coming up behind you in that doorway would kill you. So, we've come back over here. We can just shoot down at these people right now, and Winston's dead. We can see the rest of their team, so we know that it's going to be hard for them to actually contest it now, because we can see their entire team, and we know that their diver is dead. Just standing over there by default is pretty risky, until you have more information about the enemy team, basically. So, enemy team starting to come out this way. Yeah, they're like all here, but they didn't touch the checkpoint. So, as you can probably tell from the remaining time on this video, yeah, so it's not an issue. It's not an issue for us. So we're going to play Widowmaker again. We're trying to do some mind games. We're going to wait to peek the door, and we were telling people to not show themselves as well for, well, Mercy, so that we can try and take someone by surprise. And, you know, we wait, patience, peek out. It's only D.Va. We might have killed the Ana, you know, aim better, all that, blah, blah, blah. So they have a D.Va, which is kind of spooky. Just chuck your mine out there. Like, you know, you want it out. You know, it's better to have a mine out there somewhere than to have no mine out there. Just chuck it out there, have it be doing something. With D.Va jumps on us right here. So this is the thing, that D.Va is scary to us, so we have to always be accounting for D.Va in what we're doing, right? We have to know what we're gonna do if we get dove on. Like, We also want to know who's going to dive on us, because a Winston or a D.Va diving on you are different levels of threat. But we have to know what we're going to do if we get dove on, and then we're not really thinking about that, and then as soon as D.Va jumps on us, we're already dead. Like, we've got to be waiting for D.Va to dive on us, because she's gonna. So we've got to be ready for it, and we got to know what we're going to do. So I am going to comment on aim better, very briefly, on this